I see the government yesterday dusted off their better public services targets, claiming that they are ambitious. In fact, many of those targets would be achievable without particular attention from the government. If you take the school attendance target, for example, school attendance was sitting in the 70 to 80% range before COVID in 2019. They're using as their benchmark term 2 in 2022, when all of the kids were at home with their parents isolating because it was the country's first nationwide outbreak of COVID-19. So they've set the benchmark for themselves very, very low, and then claimed that getting back to levels that we were at before COVID is somehow ambitious. It isn't, actually. And I could go through many of the rest of their targets and find similar examples. In reality, these aren't particularly ambitious, and the timeframes for achieving them aren't particularly ambitious either.
Term 3 data was 46%, which is the most recent that we have, which is obviously woeful. Term 4 data is out on Friday. Are you anticipating, given that is post-COVID, that that's going to be back up in the 70s and 80s?
It should certainly be better. I don't know the exact number. But actually, if you look at the bands of data, there's a lot of kids who are sitting in that 70, they're just below 90%. So they're sitting in that 80 to 90% category. And that means that they've missed, say, 5 days because they might have had COVID, and then they've missed one other day, and therefore they fall into the next band, and they don't meet the criteria. I think we should, I have no problem with the target. I agree with the target. I think it's a good target. I don't think it's particularly ambitious, though.
But so do you think that there is a truancy crisis in New Zealand?
I think the real crisis is actually of quite a small band of kids who, and it's still in the thousands, so it's not insignificant, who are missing a lot of school. And I do think that is a crisis. But the reality is the government will be able to hit their target without getting a single one of those kids to attend school more regularly.
You said it's not very ambitious. What would be a better, more ambitious target that a government should be striving for?
I think you need to look at attendance in a more granular level. So you actually need to be dividing the groups into cohorts. So getting those kids who are currently attending school 89% of the time to attend 90% of the time isn't much of an achievement. Getting the kids who are only attending school 1 day a week to actually attend school regularly, that would be a major achievement. The reality is they'll be able to hit their 90% or their 80% target without getting a single one of those, really problematic kids more engaged in schooling, and that's the group that we've really got to focus on.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. To stay up to date with all the latest news from the New Zealand Herald, click the subscribe button below or check out one of the videos here, and head over to nzherald.co.nz for more details on these stories and more.